So this is the review that you should have already done. I want to start with some comments on the quiz, which will be Monday. It'll be up for about 24 hours. I'm going to put it up at 9 Monday morning. It's a Google form. It should be done within 24 hours. So it's going to be taken down. Make sure you're getting it done. If there's issues, contact me. I'm hoping to send out an email to your parents to let them know so they have a clue what's going on. It's going to be multiple choice and open-ended. Right? I'll talk through that some as we go through. Basically, the open-ended is so you can type stuff. So if you're solving a problem and you want to put work in there or tell me what you did, you can. I also put a final question that is not for points, that lets you upload something. So if you want to do the work on a separate sheet and take a picture and upload it, you should be able to do that on that final question. Also, as you probably noticed when you looked on here, I attached bookwork. I'm not checking that. That's extra problem. So both the work and the answers are there. If you feel like you need some extra work. Also, as we're going through here, I'll talk about this some more. But some things like lines, like I couldn't put stuff over the line segments to show what they are. I also couldn't put anything over the arcs. So like down here, we have arc AB, and you have the arc symbol over it. I couldn't do that. So if I'm referring to an arc, I put the word arc in front of it. All our lines basically will stop at the point. And I'll talk about that as I go through this problem a bit. So that's probably the main things on the quiz. I'll talk some more stuff as I go through this. So starting on 1 through 4, right, identifying our parts of our circle, right, our diameter goes through the center and ends on the end points. Okay, the radius, which isn't on here, you should know, goes from the center to the edge, right? So AP and PB would both be radiuses or radii. Array, a tangent, I keep going to array. Tangent just touches the circle. It won't be array, it won't have to be array on the quiz because you'll just be identifying this. This will be multiple choice. So I'll give you that, say, identify a tangent, and there'll be options there. So your tangent just touches the circle. Your secant goes through, so EF, and your chord stops. Now, if I made GH a line with the arrows on it, I could call it a secant. That's not going to happen on the quiz. If it's saying GH, it's a chord. If I want it to be a secant, I will have a point that is outside here that's labeled, right? Because again, I can't put the symbols over them. So you're going to go by where the end points are on the line. You should also know how to name a circle, right? Which is by the center. So this would be circle P, right? Down here on 5 through 7, I have circle A and circle B, right? You can name that with a circle in front of it. I couldn't put that on Google Classroom. So again, when I talk about circles, it will say circle A, circle B, circle P. So that's what we're doing on those. So these 4 parts, along with our radius and naming the circle, is what you need to know for that part of it. Right? You're not going to be drawing on the quiz. There is, I think, a couple things with tangents on there. So look at that as on 5 through 10. The distance between the centers of the circle is equal to the length of the diameter. That's true. I can just count, right, the distance between them and the diameters. That's going to work. There are only 2 common tangents. You can also draw the one in the middle, which is the one most people miss. So that's false. And then the circles meet at 6,3, which is true. Okay. Again, for both these and 8, 9, and 10, our tangent is just touching the circle. Okay. So I have the 2 I can draw outside and the one in between here, which is similar to 8. If those circles start to overlap, like they do in 9, then I could have 2. If one's completely inside the other, then I have 0. If this circle was just touching the outside here, and it's on the inside, I'd have 1. And if they were completely separated, like if I look at 11 and 12, I would be able to, if those, I look at just those 2 circles, I would be able to draw 4 because it can draw 2 in between. 11 and 12, we're looking at the tangents again. BA in both of these is a tangent. So the tangent hits the radius at 90 degrees, meaning I can solve these triangles using Pythagorean theorem, which is what's drawn out here. The key thing is, what is your hypotenuse? That's your C. That's this one that by itself. So there's a couple ways you can tell this. If it's opposite the 90, and so what's opposite the 90 is the hypotenuse. That's the best way to tell it in general. On these problems, another thing you can use is that the hypotenuse is going to be both inside the circle and outside the circle. So like BA, the 96, is just outside the circle. Here, BC, X, is just inside the circle. Whereas AC is inside the circle for this bit and outside the circle for that bit. That means that's the hypotenuse. That's the one that should be by itself. Okay. On these problems, as I mentioned above, some of these will be multiple choice. So these would be, these would be open-ended problems. So you can just tell me if you solve and get X is 28. You can just tell me that. If you're worried you made a mistake or you did something wrong, you can tell me in the thing what you did. So you can say, I did. You can't do exponents, I don't think, but you could type that, write it out. So you could say I did X squared plus 96 squared equals 100 squared. You would tell me you made 100 your hypotenuse. But again, you also have the option of doing it on paper and then uploading it on that last problem. Right? So whatever is going to be easiest for you to do. I'm not requiring you to show work because of how we're doing the quiz. So you can just say, my answer is 28. My answer is 117. Okay. But if you want to show the work so I can give partial credit, okay, then you have the option of typing in there what you did or of uploading a document when you get to the end of the quiz. Okay. So again, both of these, I'm doing X squared, or I'm doing my legs squared, add those up, set it equal. So here I have to subtract and then take the square root. So the square root of 784 is equal to 28. Here I'm adding these, so I square them, and then I add them, and then I take the square root to get my answer. 13 and 14, if I have lines that are from the same point that are tangent to the same circle, they are equal. So I'm just setting these equal and solve. And on 14, I have the X squared. So when I get to this point here, I'm going to have to take the square root to get that X equals 3. Right? But setup wise, I'm just setting both of these equal. Again, a problem like this would be open-ended, so you can tell me my answer is 5 or X is 5, and that's fine. You can, if you like here, you could probably type out what you did if that's easier. And if you want to show me on a piece of paper, you can do that. 15, this is harder than what's on the quiz. It's the same concept as 11 and 12. The difference is my numbers are bigger for one, but also where my numbers are. So it tells me the space shuttle is 180 miles from Earth. That's just this little section here. So then the radius is 4,000. So that's this and this just to here. So for my hypotenuse, which is outside and inside the circle, I have to add those two together. Okay? So that makes this a little bit harder, plus the numbers being bigger. That doesn't happen on the quiz. So if that's the confusing part of this for you, you're fine. But again, this is similar to the ones we looked at above. Okay. Then we get to our arcs, right? So it's asking you to identify as minor, major, or semicircle. On the quiz, this one will be multiple choice, and I actually set it up so that you have the picture, you have these listed, all right, and then you can pick minor, major, or semicircle for each one, right? So make sure you're doing it for each answer, right? So If it's a minor arc, it's only 2 letters. So all of these that have 2 letters have to be minor arcs. They have to be less than 180. Okay? I'm always going around the shortest distance, which I'll talk more about on the next group of problems. If it's 3 letters, it's either a semicircle or a major arc. The semicircle is half the circle. All right, so your line going through, it's going to be a diameter, like EC is. Okay, and you should have those 3 things that tell you the size. So EAC is a semicircle, 180 degrees. If it's more than that, ACD, right, that's your major arc. CAD is a major arc. You always go around in order of the letters. Okay, so I go from C to A to D. I go from A to C, I go from A to C to D. On 19, on 18, I go from E to A to C. Okay, so you should get to them in order and staying on the outside of your circle. Right? So that's identifying them. Then we have the measure. Okay, these are open-ended, so you can put in when you want there. If you want to show some work, there's probably less work to show this. It's mainly adding and subtracting. Things like vertical angles work. So PQ is 42 because the vertical angle is here. So this is 42. I can add or subtract depending on what's helpful to me. So ST is this section in here. And what I did is I said, all right, RSP is a semicircle. That's 180. So 64 plus 42 is 106. I then subtracted that from 180, which got me the 74. Okay. On TPS, it comes around this way. Okay. It's everything except this thing that I just solved for. So I did 360 minus that 74. That got me to 286. Sometimes you have different options. So like RT, I added the 74 that I found and the 42 that they gave me here. That gave me 116. I could also do 180 minus the 64. That's here. You could also subtract from 360. I don't have a nice, easy number to use with that on this problem, so that's probably not a great idea. But for 28, right, it's RQS. So it's everything except this. So I did 360 minus the 42, right? So all of these, I'm just adding or subtracting. If you have 2 letters, okay, like here I have PS, right? If I look at this section, that's more than 180. That is the wrong arc. So if you have 2 letters and you get more than 180, you went the wrong direction. So PS is this here, which is the 64 plus the 74. 2 letters is always the shortest direction. So PS, I'm coming this way. On 29, QR, I'm going the opposite way. All right, because that's the shortest distance. Okay? So if you have 3 letters, you should get 180 or more, depending on if it's a semicircle or a major arc. If it's 2 letters, you should get less than 180. Then 34 through 36, I'm solving for parts. A couple things on the quiz with this. Remember, here we just have 1 circle on each thing, but you do have at least one on the quiz that has 2 circles. Remember, if they have the same radius, they're congruent circles. Okay, so if I know the radius is the same, I can move things from circle to circle. Right? Also here, I marked the arcs as congruent. If I had chords, like if I had AC connected and CB connected, and I marked those congruent, then the arcs would be congruent. So watch that. There's also at least one problem where you use something like that to solve for the chord. So watch, is it saying arc AC, or is it just saying AC? If it just said AC, that would be looking at the line. I'll say, I can't have this symbol over it, as I mentioned earlier, but I will say arc if it is an arc. Okay. So each of these I used when I knew This is 90, so I did 360 minus 90 to get ACB. And then these two parts are equal, so I divided that by 2. 35, the whole thing is 360. There's 3 equal parts, so I divided by 3 to get 120. And for ACB, I'm using 2 of those, so I doubled that to get 240. Something like 36, you might have to mess around with and find what's easiest. There might be more than one way to do this, but I think this is definitely the easiest way here. ACD is half a circle. So, and I know BC is 90, so I did 180 minus 90. That means that these two arcs, AB and CD, add up to 90. Divided that by 2, that gets me 45 for each one of these. So then DAB starts here, goes around this way, and goes up here. So it has the 180 over here and this 45. So I added those together to get the 225. So that is our review. Again, I'm attached to this post the bookwork and the answers. So if that helps you to try that, please do that. The quiz will be Monday. I'll post it at 9 a.m. It'll be due in 24 hours, so make sure you're getting it done. I'm hoping to email your parents and remind them of that, so they'll be able to help you out with making sure you have access. Then if there's issues with that, please let me know. All right, and I am ending the video. Hope you are all doing well.